So this is Young Americans Abroad, our weekly soccer report. My name's Austin Van Schuren.
My name's Patrick Ferry.
And welcome to our show.
So guys, this is our first YouTube channel, our first show. We're really excited to bring you this content here. But our Young Americans Abroad show is, basically a weekly soccer report covering the future of American soccer players.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty much under the age of 25. That's what we're sticking to.
Yeah, we did 25 instead of 23 just because we can talk about more players and, players at age 25 still haven't reached their full potential. So.
Exactly. And we're going to be covering a lot of the leagues in Europe, from La Liga to the Bundesliga to the EPL, even some other leagues
leagues like the Danish league, and also some other Scandinavian leagues and stuff. So we're excited to do this and bring this content to you guys.
So Young Americans Abroad, we strive to bring you that quality content of players going overseas, their experiences, and their journey to the first team and national team.
The first player we're going to start out with this week is Matt Miazga, and boy did he have an eventful weekend. So he played 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw. Vitesse played Heerenveen. But the main story of the game was him grabbing the groin of a defender on Heerenveen.
What do they call that, Austin? Old school defending?
Yeah, that's what Kasia, the defensive partner of Matt Miazga on Vitesse, that's what he called Matt Miazga's display, old school defending. But we took another look at it, and it was clearly not something that Matt should be proud of. But surprisingly, the ref didn't see it on the field, and there was no action taken after the match.
Yeah, I was really surprised about that, especially nowadays with everything being recorded and clearly seeing Matt Miazga pull that.
And it was clear too. That was the crazy thing.
That's for sure.
So, but so moving on. So Cameron Carter-Vickers played this weekend.
Yeah, so another loan for Cameron Carter-Vickers there. Yeah. So, came back, recalled by Tottenham, sent out again to, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, Ipswich Town.
Ipswich Town, yes.
In the championship there. And he actually matched up against, on the other side there, Bolton, Anthony Robinson. So, CCV starting center back for actually the 6th worst defense in the championship there. So that's, unfortunate, but good
gives him an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Gives him an opportunity, and he actually went 90, and it was a 1-1 draw. The goal wasn't really his fault. It was actually the outside back's fault, who really wasn't marking. But maybe he could have communicated better. Maybe he couldn't have. Not really sure, but that's what I got from that end there.
Okay. And what about Anthony Robinson then at Bolton? How'd he play?
Yeah, so
someone we're excited about here. On this show.
Very excited. Anthony Robinson, another young guy, actually from I think Everton, right?
Yes.
I think he's loaned down from Everton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's exciting as well. On the other side there for Bolton, and he was playing left back, and he was looking pretty. From the highlights I saw, pretty good going forward. A little shaky on marking on the way back. He kind of was indirectly involved in the goal against. Their team there, so we'll see how that was. He almost reminds me of a Yedlin, which is going forward. It's a lethal weapon to have on the outside there.
Yeah,
do you think so?
Pace, is always an asset. But yeah, I heard he's really good going forward as well. But defending is something we need, so hopefully he can work on that part of his game.
So one more player I think we should talk about, Austin, is Deandre Yedlin over there.
Yeah.
So for Newcastle, going against one of the best team in the league, Man City.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, I think when he came in the 60-something, 67.
Yeah, it was later on in the second half.
He unfortunately had to defend Leroy Sane and company.
Yeah. And
boy, was that ugly.
It's a tough task. Yeah.
He got torched right at the end, I think for one of the goals, right?
Yeah, it was the Leroy Sane. Kind of did a dribble move into the box, pulled the ball back right by Yedlin.
We were watching that live with one of our buddies, and just kind of cringeworthy, classic Deandre Yedlin defending, but not to put him down. And he's still a great player, just going against an even higher class player in Leroy Sane there.
Yeah, it's tough. And he didn't start the game too, which is a little concerning to me. Javier Manquillo started over. Who's been the other player that they've played at right back this year. So, not good, and Rafa Benitez looked very upset on the bench when
he definitely did.
Sane crossed that ball and Man City scored. So, something to watch. Hopefully he gets more playing time or more, regular playing time. Not to say that he hasn't, but it's just a situation to monitor.
So switching countries here, Austin.
Yeah, so now moving to the Bundesliga, we have some bad news. I guess some more bad news, kind of. Weston McKennie played this weekend against Hanover. Came in the 63rd minute, had a really nice through ball.
Yeah, looking promising there.
Yeah, it looked good in the short amount of time he was in the game. But he had to leave the game early in I think it was the 83rd minute with a knee injury.
Pains my heart.
Yeah, we just found out today that it's actually partially torn MCL, and he'll be out for around 6 weeks, the club said on their Twitter account. So it's something, obviously we hope Weston, recovers, gets well soon.
Get well, Weston, if you're watching this.
Yeah, right. But yeah, something to monitor there at Schalke, and not a good thing. So.
Yeah, and what do you say, just because Goretzka left?
Well, yeah, so he's leaving in the summer.
Okay,
he just signed on a free transfer for Bayern Munich in the summer, pre-contract. So now it's kind of his time to show Schalke that he can kind of fill those shoes that Goretzka had this year and last year. So now him being out, it's not a good start to, his time where they're starting to think of him as more than just, another player. So like I said, something to watch, and hopefully, he recovers, comes back stronger than ever, and can help, not only Schalke, but also the U.S. in the near future. We'll be back for some of those summer friendlies and stuff. So love to see him and Christian and some of the other players.
Can you imagine that?
On the field together.
Gosh.
So hopefully, we get to see that soon. So yeah, moving on. So you want to talk about Luca De La Torre?
Yeah. So we'll switch down, go back to England, but step a league down here to the Championship.
Yeah.
So we're going to Fulham here with Luca De La Torre subbed in, I believe, towards the end of the game, the last 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay.
There wasn't much to
appearance.
do. Yeah, really short appearance. Okay. So he didn't really make an impact in the game. They were already up by a lot. Yeah. But it's nice to see. We were talking about this earlier. Luca De La Torre being on the bench and just consistently being named to the first team, getting those late appearances, and he's still pretty young. So.
Yeah, he's really young. So yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely a good thing. And then also, staying in the Championship. Side thing. I always think the Championship's a funny name for a second division.
Yeah.
My 2 cents for the show.
Yeah.
But, anyway, we're talking about
interesting name. Yeah.
We're talking about Lyndon Gooch, they call him in Sunderland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he had a late cameo as well for Sunderland. Subbed in again. I believe it was 8 or 9 minutes left in the game. It was really active, lively. The Sunderland fans love him. They appreciate that hustle, that American grit and mentality that he has.
Yeah, so. I actually saw someone, a Sunderland staunch supporter of their club, on Twitter actually posted something about Gooch always working hard and bringing that fighting spirit to the side. So that's
American way.
Yeah, that's promising to see.
Yeah, it'll be exciting, and hopefully he can really solidify himself. In the Black Cats starting 11 soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll get back into the Premier League. So.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they're not doing so hot right now. They're at the bottom.
They're at the bottom.
Towards the bottom of the table. Last time I looked in the Championship.
It's a tough table to climb in the Championship. So and then we're talking also. We're going to Chelsea, but sticking with their under-23 team. We have Kyle Scott, midfielder there, who seems pretty promising. Potentially for. In America in the future there. Mm-hmm. And he's, named to the first team, I believe, in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he's been on the bench a few times. I'm not sure if he made his debut. I don't want to say that for sure. But I know he made the bench a lot in the first half of the season just because, Chelsea's squad is so small right now. That's exciting, whether it's warranted or not. I mean, we'll see what type of player he is and what type of career he has, but so what happened? What happened with him? He played in the U23 game.
Yeah, played in the U23 game. Played the whole time. Looks really strong on the ball from what I was seeing. On the internet and Twitter, things like that. And he actually had a really nice meg to the goalie,
really?
And it was him. It was Kyle Scott really learned something training with the first team. It was a pretty nice meg with the goalie there. So that was pretty exciting to see, even though it was just training. Little flair there. Yeah. But yeah, Austin, do you want to talk about the Wonder Boy who unfortunately is missing out on the World Cup this year?
Yeah, unfortunately. We're heartbroken here. Yeah, right there.
There he is, right here.
Yeah. So yeah, he had a rough game, I would say. It wasn't, a horrible game, but he didn't play great in Dortmund's 1-1 draw this weekend. He had a few moments where he looked, like that Christian Pulisic that we know, very, very quick, was dribbling into the box, had a good cross that went into the box, I think to Shinji Kagawa, who just, completely headed it over the goal. It seems like that's happened a lot this year, not only for Dortmund, but also for Christian Pulisic and his crossing in the final third and some of the passes he's played. No one seems to be able to finish any of those passes, but that
just seems like a Dortmund problem right now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's great to see, Christian getting those consistent minutes and really solidifying his place. But it's also concerning just to see how, one man can't change the team, and you need everybody to perform at a certain level to get those results, and hopefully Christian can kind of guide them back.
Yeah, that's the hope. But he definitely needs to work on his finishing, I'd say, in the second half of the year. He needs to kind of just slow the game down a little bit. It seems like every time he gets into the box or gets into that final third, he's too quick to make decisions and kind of rushes things or tries to force balls into areas where maybe he shouldn't be forcing them into. So it's just something to watch for Christian in the second half of the year. But like I said, not his best game of the season, but also I would say not his worst game of the season. And Dortmund got the draw 1-1. So moving on to Denmark now. So Jonathan Amon,
heard good things about this guy.
Yeah, the big up and comer at Nordsjælland, FC Nordsjælland. He played in a friendly this weekend for their club and scored a goal, drew a penalty, and then also had a pass to an assist. So that's not really a stat, but at the same time, it's good play. And his goal, he looked really good on. He dribbled into the box on the left, and then took I believe it was a right-footed shot across the goal and into the top right corner.
It's the most active of the Americans, it seems like.
Yeah,
this past week.
Yeah, not only this past week, but it seems like kind of the past few weeks maybe after their break or before their break. He's playing very well, getting playing time. But yeah, he's definitely someone who we're really excited about going forward, and I know a lot of other people are as well. So he's someone to watch. So moving on from there, Kenny Saif played for Anderlecht this week, right? He made his debut.
Yeah, it was exciting. Excited to see him transfer from another Belgian club, but really establish himself in Anderlecht, which is a pretty well-known top Belgian team. Started off pretty weak there at the beginning of the season, but really got it together, and hopefully Kenny Saif will rejuvenate and inject some really much needed ball control and possession that they've kind of lacked, honestly, from the few games that I've seen. So it was exciting to see him kind of playing out on the left there. Had a few good crosses in there, and it was exciting to see him go up, very calm with the ball, really good with possession. I was also curious as well, Austin, because they were saying Kenny Saif has some really good, strong qualities we mentioned, but it seems his lack of pace could be a concern, maybe for the national team in the future, but he does seem like a player, now in the present that could make an impact for the national team going forward. Yeah,
I think we're going to see a lot more of him in the near future. Just from what I've seen, I haven't seen too much of him, but he just looks kind of like you said, a very smart, composed player on the ball, and is someone that could definitely help, the U.S. going forward. We
Can't harm us, right?
Yeah, we need more of those types of players. So moving on from Kenny Saif, then we'll talk about Andrija Novakovic. I hope I got that name right.
That was impressive if you got it.
Yeah, the pronunciation of that name right. So he played for Telstar, which is the second league in the Netherlands, just under the Eredivisie. And he scored 2 goals this weekend. There were, some pretty good goals. Not the best quality. There was one drag shot on the ground. It looked kind of easy, but
goal's a goal, right?
Yeah, goal's a goal, and he's scored a lot of goals this year. So he scored 2 more this weekend, and that's someone that we should be on the lookout in the future. I know he's on loan from Reading, so maybe next year he'll be able to contribute to Reading's first team.
And Reading's doing pretty well, so maybe he could just slide in there and really get some minutes for a pretty competitive team in the championship right now.
Hopefully. Or even go on loan somewhere different.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. So then, finally, the last player we really want to touch on this week is...
How do you pronounce this?
Yeah, Jordan Saibotu. That's my best pronunciation of that name. But he scored 2 goals as well this weekend, playing for Stade Rem.
He's had a great...
I hope that's how you pronounce that team name.
He's had a great goal record, too, in the past few games, right?
Yeah,
he's had a decent amount.
I believe he scored, after this game this weekend, 12 goals in League 2, or Ligue 2. I'm not French, obviously. So he scored 12 goals this year in the league, and he's played well. Obviously, he's a French of French descent.
Right, French American.
Was born in France and grew up in France. But he has Cameroonian heritage. He also has American heritage.
Wow, so he's got options there.
Yeah, so he's got some options, and hopefully we can sway him in the future to play for the U.S. I don't think he'll play for France. I don't think he'll be good enough to warrant a call up.
That team's unbelievable.
No slight on him.
Now.
Yeah, their team is just unreal. So hopefully we can fight it out with Cameroon and have another striker in our pool that could contribute to the first team. I think maybe not right now, but in the near future, if we can convince him to play, I think we should call him up pretty soon.
Absolutely.
Or at least extend an offer to call him up.
Definitely. In this time of transition as well, for us to really test out new players and new methods and strategies to get someone over there who's doing so well and scoring goals. That's someone that we definitely need up front.
Yeah, it would be nice to have more options because
absolutely.
We're not too we don't have too many players at the striker position that could contribute right now. So hopefully we can convince him.
So now we'll finish with our last segment, quick kicks.
Yeah, so quick kicks will be our final segment of every show, and we'll just talk about a few players who did some good things this weekend or some bad things this weekend. Just give you the quickest form of our analysis. So the first player we want to talk about is Bobby Wood, and we don't really want to talk about his performance on the field. We want to talk about a situation that occurred just today on
just
Monday.
Recently, yeah.
So Hamburg fired their coach Marcus Gisdol over the weekend, and then appointed new coach Bernd Hellerbeck. I think it's Hallerbach.
However you pronounce it. I think the first one you got it right.
No, I think it's the last one. Bernd Hallerbach. So just some backstory on Bernd Hallerbach. He last coached in the Bundesliga or the 3 Liga in Germany for the Wolfsburg Kickers. So this will be his So this will be his first job after that. So that's a pretty big step up, but it'll be exciting to see what Bobby Wood can do under this new coach. He didn't have the best time at the beginning, the first part of the season under Marcus Gisdol.
And there's a young striker coming up right behind him as well, right?
Yeah, Jan Fiete Arp. I'm not sure how you pronounce that either. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what Bobby Wood can do with this new coach. Sometimes with a new coach you can get a whole new perspective on what your role is within the team, and hopefully that'll be what happens with Bobby. But what also could happen is you just fall down the pecking order even more and you don't get minutes. So hopefully that's not what happens. So
yeah, let's hope.
It'll be interesting to see, and we'll monitor that and report on that in the future.
So our next quick kick, we're gonna start with is on another unfortunate situation here, Ethan Horvath.
Yeah, man, doesn't get any better.
Doesn't get that was
not
tough.
Yet, at least not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, it's not looking good. Club Brugge just signed another keeper. He was 36 or 37, but very experienced keeper. And he was playing over in the Eredivisie.
Yep.
So
Kenneth Vermeer. Yep.
Exactly. So it'll be tough, along with who they already had, Boutel, another experienced keeper that Ethan Horvath originally replaced in the lineup. But now it's just been kind of shuffled down, and he is really dropping down to the 3rd or 4th goalie there.
Oh,
and that's not where you want to be.
Yeah.
He's had a few blunders for Bruges and that awful one. For the U.S. there during that friendly.
We all probably saw that by now.
Yeah.
Seen that by now.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate, and then also some rumors too, just going around social media, that some MLS clubs are aware of his situation and are potentially in contact with him, but
it's not great.
Not great, but at this point he seems like he's just in a downward spiral, and I was really high on him before. We had this keeper debate before, and he was my guy, so it kind of pains me. Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
It's sad, but yeah. So then we want to talk about Josh Sargent real quick. So Josh Sargent has played in 2 U23 games so far. I believe they were both friendlies, and scored in one of them and also had an assist in the other one. So life has started well for Josh Sargent. He's also practicing 1 to 2 times a week now for the foreseeable future with the first team there.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's a big step for him.
Yeah.
Seems like he's accelerating on the path there, right?
Yeah, he actually scored a really nice goal in training where he volleyed the ball to himself over Aaron Johansson and then, shot and scored. So it got, everyone at Virtus practice ooh and ahhing.
Oh yeah.
So that's always a good thing.
I think Johansson tried to play it off or something like, I just want him to get settled in training, or
that's what
don't quote
he
me
said
on that, but something like that.
Yeah, he said something to that effect.
Yeah. So our final quick kick here is going over to La Liga with Shaq Moore, another promising young American outside back there, and he's playing for Levante there. And he actually had a really good game a while back against Barcelona. I think it was a few weeks back.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty good,
it's Barcelona.
It was Barcelona, but as good as you would expect. And, it was kind of startling to see him not even in the 18 for this recent game they had. And his replacement, Koke, who I believe came, from...
on loan from Schalke.
On loan from Schalke there. And he actually got, torched on the side there, completely beaten down the field. It didn't even look like there was effort there. So that's a good sign for Shaq Moore, I think. And the fact that he's still young, breaking into the Levante first team, it's a decent side, in La Liga. But just to have someone competing like the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona and Atletico on a daily basis is definitely exciting to see. Because there's not many Americans, I believe, in La Liga.
No, he's the only one right now.
Oh,
so.
There you go.
Yeah, that's always exciting. Yeah, and something we'll continue to monitor, and hopefully, he wins his place back or can get into the starting lineup more often. So that's all for our show today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below, and go USA.
USA.
Go
baby.
Young Americans.
Young Americans abroad.
One day we'll win the World Cup. One day.
One day.